Hello and welcome. Say, did you ever ask yourself, is this a Conan reference? I mean, demon-like bats, gigantic spiders, intelligent apes, witch-like hags and many more things that just scream Conan the Barbarian. And for those who don't know who Conan is a barbarian who was written by Robert E. Howard that went on many adventures that included being a pirate, fighting sorcerers, killing monsters, fighting vast enemies on the battlefield, and many more ridiculous things that Spear and Fang also kind of did. That's what we will discuss today, the many Conan references or inspirations the series brings. And I know that Genndy Tartakovsky had many inspirations for the series, but I only want to focus on the Conan ones today. But let's begin, shall we? Spear is Conan. The first thing I always hear is how identical Spear is to Conan, a large, black-haired, clean-shaven, ripped, wandering warrior figure that fights multiple enemies and always comes on top of them, for the most part. And I can't agree more. I mean, Tartakovsky even named the two main characters after a title that the maker of Conan the Barbarian wrote. Plus, just look how Spear is becoming more and more like Conan in Season 2. The iron sword, leather armor and the battle face he gives off just screams Conan, so I can see why Genndy or Tartakovsky maybe based Spear off of Conan to begin with, and who knows, maybe Spear is a descendant of a barbarian race that evolved for a need of survival, who knows? Ape Man reference. Intelligent apes are, in my opinion, a big theme in Conan's universe. For example, after the Cataclysm, what was an apocalyptic event, men started to devolve into ape-like beings that retained a somewhat high level of intelligence, just like the ones in Primal. Eventually, these ape men would evolve back into a current-day human and rebuild their civilization all over again. This evolution theme was a big part of Robert E. Howard's philosophy, where men would eventually return to a more savage way for a need of survival. A theme we see in Season 2 Episode 5, where scientists criticize the theory of de-evolution. But over the course of the episode, devolve more and more from using guns to swords to bows, and finally using a stone spear to defeat their enemy just because of a need of survival. There's no doubt in my mind that Genndy Tartakovsky took some inspiration from that and used it to flesh out Primal's already awesome lore even further and also make a nice reference by doing so. Demonbats. The crimson, man-like bats we saw in the episode Terror of the Blood Moon felt like a reference to the Demonbats from Conan. They are gigantic, look like bats obviously, and they have an alien demon-like aesthetic to them. All of that matches the man-bats from Primal. Some iterations even make the demon-bats from Conan an intelligent elder race that was hunted down by early humanity and forced to devolve into their feral state, much as the ones from Primal. However, that doesn't mean that demon-bats are primarily made by Robert E. Howard. It is certainly made mainstream by different Conan authors over the time, but that doesn't mean it was 100% a Conan thing, but again it was made mainstream by Conan, just so you know. Magic. Okay, magic is not a Conan invented thing. There are many old stories where magic is involved. However, the magic used in Primal resembles a lot the magic used in Conan. For example, magic users look corrupted, lifeless, sacrifice lives to empower themselves, binding monsters, demons, to their will, illusion spells, paralyzation spells, runes, and the use of a snake deity, what in Conan plays a huge role for magic. Hell, we can even hear snake noises when they use magic. All of that is very Conan in nature, if you ask me. Genndy Tarkovsky probably took that to heart and used elements of it while using his own version to improve the world building, what is a nice touch if you ask me again. Giant spiders. Again, a popularized thing that Conan did is the use of giant spiders in dark jungle temples with beautiful dances honoring their dark spider god with horny dances and sacrifices. But in Primal it's more like, hey, Conan kind of did the same where he fought a giant spider and won, but that's kind of it. Spear and Fang didn't explore some old ruins or spider cult where they killed a bunch of giant spiders. No, they just killed one and escaped. That's it. I believe there's a bigger reference here besides giant Conan spider, or there might even not be a reference after all. Well, giant spider is kind of a Conan reference, in my opinion, but yeah, we leave it by that. Mountain God. In the last episode of the first season, Mira drew a picture of what it looks like a horned demon wielding a sword living on a mountain, and we can see him better in a season 2 trailer sitting on his throne. It seems that this demon or god is a reference to the mountain god Crom that also wields a sword and sits on his throne for the most part. However, there are some differences. For example, Crom looks way more human and does not care for his worshippers because he already gave them what they need when they're born. This god seems to demand sacrifices to be pleased or grant power in return, things that Crom dislikes, heavily dislikes, even punishes when asked of him, with lightning. Either way, this is just a huge nod to Crom in my opinion. Their similarities are striking, but also not that close to begin with. But I am sure we will know him much better in the later episodes. Similar races. In Primal Season 2, we were introduced to many races that somewhat resemble the ones from Conan, and I don't talk about genetics, no, more like the order we meet them. For example, the Scottish or the Celts that resemble the Cimmerians, however more primitive in nature, and the Vikings that resemble the Vanir or the Aesir but live in greener territory. And what I'm trying to say is that they're just next to each other. Just like in the books, what is an instant recognizer if you read the books. However, there's more. In the Season 2 trailer, we saw what looks like an Egyptic looking empire that, in my opinion, will be a Stygia reference where snake cults rule from behind and sacrifice virgins on their altar just to provoke the favor of their god. Probably. Different ages. And last of all, in Primal we saw different people in different ages. For example, spears in a Stone Age. The Scottish are some kind of bronze, maybe infant Iron Age. And the Vikings are fully Iron Age, maybe even Steel Age. These are all things that the Conan universe is also known for. Different people in different ages. For example, the Picts are in a Stone Age. The Stygians are between the Bronze and Iron Age, or the Numidians that already have knight armor, all chaotically written by Robert E. Howard to make the setting more alien than it already is, kind of just like Primal. And that's it for today. I certainly have more theories, possible references that cross the H.P. Lovecraft territory, but maybe another day. I also want to apologize for my shitty German accent. I hope you didn't get bothered by it too much, and if you liked the video, let me know in the comment section to tell me more references that I missed or things I did bad. Telling me would be appreciated. But that's it for today. I'm Toasty the Barbarian, and I wish you a good day.